Salutation friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to share with you guys my top 10 recommendations from my collection on fragrances I think would be beautiful and perfect for winter time. So if you'd like to know what I chose, then keep watching. Now generally when I do lists like this, I like to reach into my own collection. So there's going to be a lot of things on this list that probably deserve to be on this list. But I like to go to my own collection because I have a real intimate experience with each one of these in a variety of different scenarios and environments, and I can trust that I can give you guys a really solid recommendations because I've used and owned and invested in these fragrances. Now, normally how I do my top 5 or my top 10 lists is they're in no particular order other than the last 3. So the first 7 are in no particular order, and then the top 3 are all like tied for first place. So I'm going to start off with one that I think would work really well because I've been wearing it if you live in a hotter or humid climate. Now, if you know anything about my channel, if this is your first time tuning in, I live in the tropics, or like very close to the tropics. I live in South Florida, very close to the beach. I live on the river, and so it's very humid and hot and muggy where I live. So a lot of these heavier fragrances that I've worn and love, I have to wait until it's really, really cool or not so humid to wear. But I really like heavier fragrances, spiced fragrances. I just really enjoy fragrances that are more geared towards fall and winter time. So when I'm looking for an everyday fragrance that I can wear during the day when it's 85 degrees and 75% humidity in December and January, I found that this one is the best. Now, I've sampled this in the past and I finally picked up a bottle of it, and it just works really beautifully in the heat, but it does have a nice vibe to it, which reminds me very much of fall and wintertime fragrances. And it's from Jo Malone, and it's Orange Bitters. Now, my friend Tommelise, Yana from the channel Tommelise, just reviewed this fragrance, and I'm planning on doing a review of this as well, but if you can't wait for my review, I'll link her review below. She does a fantastic job of reviewing this fragrance. Just a really beautiful orange fragrance, but there's something about this that doesn't make it like your stereotypical like effervescent bright citrus fragrance. It's just kind of, it smells just a little bit bitter, a little bit spiced. It's just really, really perfect for hot and humid weather, but you want something a little bit more robust, a little bit more complex that would probably be better in cooler weather. This kind of reminds me of like a spiced drink you would drink in the evening during a holiday season, and just overall it's a fantastic fragrance that has the spirit of fall and winter fragrances but works really well in warmer climates, which is why this definitely made it to my list. A few of these fragrances I've talked about in depth, so if I have reviews of any of these fragrances, I will link them below as well. Another fragrance that I think works beautifully in cold weather. Cold weather, there we go. I mean, warm weather for me all year round. Like, I think we had a cold front of 80 degrees. Maybe it was like 76, and we were so excited. We were all in our sweaters and our scarves. It was great. You're probably all laughing at me right now, but that's just how it is in Florida. So this one is a beauty, and I really, really love it. I'm just in general a fan of this house. I love the nose. She's just as sweet as can be, and I love her creations. And it's House of Matriarch, and the fragrance I'm going to recommend is Coco Blanc. Now, a lot of her fragrances work really beautifully in cooler weather. You've got The Longing, you've got Kazemi, again, Devotion, and specifically Coco Blanc. The reason why I like this one is because it's a beautiful take on gourmand, and I really like gourmand fragrances in cooler weather or an evening time. There's just something about them that works really well. It's delicious and cozy and just really yummy. And specifically this one I absolutely love. I love the spices in here, I love the tea, and specifically I love her vanilla and in this fragrance, the Vanilla Shine. So this is a beautiful fragrance to wear in the cold time during the winter, especially if you want something cozy and delicious to warm you up. I can't think of anything better. Next up is one that whenever I post this on Instagram or mention this fragrance or talk about this fragrance, this gets so much attention and love and praise because it is just one of the fragrances where there's you can't change anything about it because it's pretty perfect the way that it is. And it's from Maison, Margiela, Replica, and it's by the Fireplace. You guys, this one is incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is warm and smoky and woodsy and just a little bit creamy and nutty. It's just really a fantastic fragrance. It works beautifully in a little bit cooler weather and really cold weather and warmer weather. I wear this year round, but this is just one of those fragrances if you're looking for like a daytime winter fragrance to wear every day. This is absolutely phenomenal. This one gathers a lot of compliments. A lot of people love it. Everyone sings its praises, and there's a good reason why. It's just a solid juice. Absolutely love this fragrance. I love this whole collection and whole line. There's only one or two fragrances I'm not super into by them. Dancing on the Moon is one of them. It wasn't bad, it just didn't smell as amazing as I know that they can create, like this and Lipstick On and all the other fragrances that they have. But by the Fireplace from their line, if you're looking for an amazing fragrance for winter time, definitely check this out. It's fantastic. I love leather fragrances, and I wanted to include several, but I decided to pare it down to the one that I think is the best, specifically for colder weather. And this is going back to liking to wear sweeter, heavier things. And I feel like this fragrance is like another fragrance that's practically perfect, and it's from Armani Prive, and it's Cuir Amethyst. This is a beautiful leather fragrance. It's really rich and sweet and bold, just really sexy and sensual. This smells so freaking good. This is one of those fragrances that would be sexy on women, sexy on men, and although I like to wear it in the heat, this fragrance is so good for cooler weather. There's just something about it. If you're in the cold and you're wearing it, you're just gonna feel warmer and you're gonna draw people to you because it's just such a magnificent fragrance. Again, it's very sexy. It's very like come hither in a lot of ways, but it's also very bold and unapologetic. So if you're looking for a really magnificent leather scent that's going to make an impression, specifically in colder weather like the winter time, I cannot recommend this one enough. This one is a favorite of mine in general. Again, one of my favorite houses, one of my favorite noses, but I don't think any list talking about cooler weather fragrances would be complete if this one wasn't mentioned. And again, this is just my personal opinion, but Grand Soir from Maison Francis Kurkdjian is just absolutely outstanding. It's a very resinous benzoin fragrance. It's very rich, but there's kind of a bit of an effervescence about it, which makes it really nice in the daytime. I think this makes a great evening fragrance in the spring and in the fall, and probably a fantastic daytime fragrance in the winter, specifically if you live in cooler climates. I like to wear this one all the time. I absolutely love it. There's just something rich and cozy and inviting and sexy about this fragrance, and it just really plays beautifully in colder weather. So, I mean, you could wear this in the evening, but I think this would be a magnificent daytime fragrance if you live in those areas where it's really cold. I wasn't sure I was going to include one fragrance from this house because there's several that could have easily made it to this list, but I decided to only include one, and I was so picky about which one I chose, but I ultimately decided on Civet. Now, it was either Civet or Rhinoceros. Civet is really nice because it's just a really beautiful, musky, delicious, heavy, thick fragrance that it just smells so freaking good. It's a little bit smoky, again, it's a little bit musky, sweet, and just works so well on the skin. This is just one of the fragrances that if you're looking for something sexy and a little bit unusual but still really wearable, I would definitely recommend Civet from Zoologist. Let's get to the last of the 7. Now, this is a fragrance I was actually wearing earlier today. I went out and about and I really loved it. And it's from Aerin, and Aerin doesn't get enough love in this community, you guys. These fragrances are so good. I love them. This is one of her kind of more higher end lines. She took some of her more popular fragrances from her regular line and turned them into kind of a little bit more of a like more elegant, sophisticated fragrances for the evening. So we have Evening Rose Dior. I'm gonna get way more into this when I review this fragrance, talking about the differences between Evening Rose and Evening Rose Dior. Evening Rose Dior, and those entire line of fragrances, but this one is so good. I love jammy roses. Some people don't like jammy roses, some people do like jammy roses. I like a really rich, syrupy, somewhat creamy rose fragrance, and I don't like it in all of the fragrances, and sometimes it can be a little bit of overpowering. But this is a fragrance where the jamminess is celebrated in such a smart way. It's kind of paired a little bit with like almost like a creme fraiche or like something really milky. And it's tart, and it's just got this really beautiful opening. It's absolutely beautiful. So it's got this creaminess and this tartness that is really working to balance out the super jam that you get with this rose, but all the while it's not undermining the beautiful richness and syrupiness that you get from a really fantastic jammy rose fragrance. And I love jammy rose fragrances. And this is just a really beautiful fragrance, specifically in the cold. It's just rich and enveloping and sexy and sensual and very feminine. And I definitely think this would be a fantastic fragrance to wear if you are looking for something sexy, like maybe for a date night or a special occasion. If you wanted to wear it in the cold winter time. I like to wear this year round, but definitely recommend this one so much. Alright, so the first one I want to recommend from the top three. Now the three of these all kind of fit along the same lines as being a little bit more formal and richer and heavier and thicker and sweeter. Now each one of these is a little bit different. I have one that's a little bit more gourmand, one that's a little bit more, I think, black tie, and the one that I think is really good for every day. So the one that I think that you could wear morning or night, evening, day, formal, casual, and you might be like, casual with this fragrance, but it's really quite fantastic, and it's Andromeda from Tiziana Terenzi. Now I took off the cap because the cap's a little bit hard for me to get on and off, but it's just a beautiful fragrance, you guys. The presentation for this is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at the top of this, like, cap. This weighs more than this. It's really beautiful. I'm going to be doing a full review on this fragrance very soon, probably in the next week or two, but I did kind of want to go into the notes really quickly and tell you guys why I chose this one. We have notes of bergamot, cut grass, ylang ylang, jasmine, heliotrope, peach, coconut powder, amber, vanilla, cashmere wood, tonka bean, and it's got like vanity notes of powdered sugar and cut grass. I get a lot of heliotrope in this and a lot of vanilla, and it's very musky, and it's got damask rose. It almost smells like there's oud in here. Kind of smells like there's a lot of patchouli in here, but I don't really. The thing with this fragrance, and you have to excuse me as I'm like reading off into the sunset, is that what I love about Tiziana Terenzi fragrances is that they're just so complex. There's just a beauty and just a majesty, like an absolute majesty about all their fragrances. Kurk is a fragrance that is a little bit too intense for me, if you can believe it, but it's absolutely stunning. Aerin is a fragrance I absolutely love, and Andromeda is one of these fragrances where I was so just completely intrigued by the notes. So I get a lot of heliotrope in this, a lot of jasmine, a lot of woods. It smells musky like patchouli. But overall, you get a lot of dried fruits in this as well, a little bit of the coconut, a little bit of peach in the background, which gives it a slight tropical twinge paired with the ylang ylang. But this is such a rich, fruity, just absolutely gorgeous melange of notes, and I just think it's absolutely stunning. Breathtaking fragrance, absolutely breathtaking fragrance, and because it's a little bit spicy and woodsy and on the thicker side, this is such a beautiful fragrance for the winter time, because especially if you like more feminine, playful fragrance, you do kind of have that with the peach and the coconut and the jasmine, and again paired with the ylang ylang, it makes it a tiny bit tropical, but it's got this beautiful spiced like muskiness to it, which works really well in cooler weather. So if you're looking something for morning to day, casual to formal, Andromeda I think is an absolutely perfect fragrance that would make a great impression. Another fragrance I wanted to share with you guys is something that's a little bit more intimate, but I think would work beautifully in cooler weather. And it's from Francis Kurkdjian, from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and it's Baccarat Rouge 540, the Extrait. The reason why I chose the Extrait over the Eau de Parfum has to do with the differences between the Extrait and the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum is very loud, it fills a room, it has fantastic sillage and longevity. It's definitely a lot more effervescent and light and playful and sparkling and fun. And as much as I love that fragrance, like obsessively love that fragrance, there's something about that that doesn't really work well for super cold weather. It's really great for fall, formal occasions, absolutely beautiful. But there's something about the almond in this which really translates better to cooler weather. Now, do not think that these are the same things. They smell like they're the same things, do not get me wrong. They're definitely Baccarat Rouge 540, both of them. But the added almond in this makes the sugared syrupiness more molten caramel and less candy floss like burnt sugar. And that translates beautifully to a little bit more formal evening occasions. And this isn't nearly as loud, like at all. It's kind of a skin scent actually, comparative to the Eau de Parfum version. But I think that this would be a really nice fragrance to wear if you're going to a very formal dinner or an office party and you want to smell really, really sophisticated and sexy, but you don't want it to be too loud. Specifically in cooler weather. This is just such a cozy, sexy, sophisticated, elegant scent that you can wear in cold weather, and that added almond is really just going to work really well in cooler weather. So this is definitely on my top 3. Last but not least, because the top 3 are all tied, is one that if you want something kind of like both of those fragrances that is practically perfect in every way, it's sweet, it's woodsy, it's just warm, delicious, cozy. You get a lot of compliments, you get a lot of attention when you wear this fragrance. It has to be Oud Bouquet from Maison Lancome. Now, I've said this before, I don't know if many of you guys haven't watched my videos before. Whenever I meet other fragrance people, if I'm going to an event or going out to dinner or just hanging out, I wear Maison Lancome pretty much every single time. There is something about this line of fragrances that people just go wild over. They are amazing, and considering the presentation and quality of juice, the prices on these are very affordable. They're expensive. This is $195, but you're getting like 100 ml. I think it's 100 ml. Yeah, 100 ml of some really quality juice, and the presentation is just freaking amazing. But the most important part of this is the juice, and let me tell you, Oud Bouquet does not disappoint. This is kind of like a rich, nutty praline rose, but really heavy on the oud, but not like your barnyard oud, which, do not get me wrong, I love me a good barnyard skanky oud. I do, I love them. But sometimes they can be a little bit too much. A little bit too much for some people. And this is one of those fragrances where it doesn't even get close to being skanky. It's just a woodsy, exotic, really sexy, syrupy, delicious fragrance. Absolute winner. I get so many compliments every time I wear any Maison Lancome fragrance, specifically the Jasmine Marzipan and the Oud Bouquet. This is such a rich, sexy, mysterious, sensual, sophisticated fragrance that it's just, there's just something about it in cold weather that it's like zinger. Like, people are like, you're like a bullseye for their noses. They're like, what are you wearing? That's amazing. That smells so good. And in the cold weather, to get that hint of warmth and sweetness, it's absolutely breathtaking. So Oud Bouquet is just one of my absolute favorite fragrances in general, from one of my favorite lines of fragrances in general, and it's perfect for winter time, fall time, springtime, even summertime, depending on where you live. But I wear this year round, but I think that it would just sing in colder weather. So it's definitely why it was in my top 3 for winter recommendations. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my recommendations. If I have reviews of any of these fragrances, I will link them below. Again, I'm also going to link Yana's review from the channel Tommelise. She just recently reviewed Orange Bitters from Jo Malone. I will link that below as well. She's wonderful. I will definitely be reviewing Jo Malone Orange Bitters on my channel very soon, but if you can't wait for that, definitely check out her review. If you guys have any opinions on any of these fragrances, good or bad, I welcome any conversation. If you say, I like this one, this wouldn't really work too well, why did you include this one, why wasn't this one included? But do remember, I did pull from my own collection when I was bringing you this list. So I'd also like to know if you guys have any recommendations. What fragrances do you guys love in the winter time, in the cool time? It could be daytime, it could be formal, it could be casual. Evening, office, professional, appropriate. I would love to know your recommendations, so let me know in the comments section below. As always, guys, if you like my videos and my fragrance videos and just videos like this in general, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this, and also don't forget to subscribe because it's free and I'm free, and I put out new videos every Monday through Friday and sometimes on the weekends as well, so I'll always have something free to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy and have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I'll see you next time. Bye!